What's up, everybody? I'm Eric,
And I'm David.
and this is Under the Arc Sports. Today, we are talking Mizzou football, previewing their matchup against Tennessee. Before we get into it, hit that subscribe button. We are almost to 100 subscribers, and I want you, you, the Mizzou fan who isn't subscribed, I want you to be number 100. Also, find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So, Mizzou got Bama out of the way. That's good news. And this Saturday, they have a road trip down to Knoxville. And Tennessee is ranked number 21. They're coming off a win against South Carolina in the other Columbia. And you were at the game, the Mizzou game against Bama. What did you see that you think can translate toward the Tennessee game?
They had a couple of good things going in that game. One, the offensive line surprisingly played a lot better than I thought they would. They did give up some pressure, especially on the throwing downs. However, against the Bama defense, they did a lot better, especially with the run game, than I was expecting, considering how inexperienced and unknown they are. Mizzou's defensive line did a really good job against Alabama's run, which I was impressed with considering how big Alabama's offensive line was. The biggest concern I would have there would be they had no pressure whatsoever on the quarterback, and that's concerning no matter who you play against.
And see, for Mizzou, that's especially concerning because it's been an issue for the last, 3 years? Pretty much all of Barry Odom's tenure, it was a concern, and it's still a concern. What that tells me is, the scheme and the coaching may not have been there, but the talent clearly isn't there, in my mind.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there. A shout out to Enos Rickshaw. He didn't look overmatched during the game. I think the biggest issue with our corners in our secondary overall was they just had way too much time to throw the ball, and it looked like we were on skates because, what can you do when the quarterback's standing there for 12 seconds waiting for someone to get open?
Yeah, on the touchdown where Jalen Waddle is in the one in the north end zone where he caught the ball and went onto the asphalt track and fell on his butt. Ennis Rakestraw was right there. It took a perfectly thrown ball for Mac Jones to keep it from being deflected or intercepted. And at that point, all you can do is tip your cap. Rakestraw acquitted himself very nicely for a true freshman against Bama. Now, looking at Tennessee, right?
Right.
They're coming off a win at South Carolina. The difference in the game was a pick six. It was close game. I'm looking at their box score, 14-7 Tennessee at halftime. And then looks like Carolina was at 14. Yeah, it was a tight game the entire way is what it's coming down to. And, you look at Tennessee. If you go back a couple of years, you're talking about how Josh Dobbs and his forehead had been at Tennessee forever, it felt like. Now we're looking at Jarrett Garantano, and it feels like he's been there forever. He is still the Tennessee quarterback, and he is still crazy athletic, but crazy inconsistent as a passer. From what I've read, he had some throws that he just blew and, throw it at receivers' feet or whatever. And if he could ever clean that up, he was 19 out of 31? Is that what it was?
Yeah, he was 19 of 31, 259 yards, one passing touchdown. Did not throw an interception.
Yeah, so if he can clean up, just say 2 or 3 bad throws, we're looking at 21 of 31, 22 of 31 for probably 275, pushing 300. That's a good game.
I agree with that.
Yeah, Tennessee, they're so hard to figure out because they talk about rebuilding. Tennessee is almost back. They're finally back. Well, we've been hearing it since what? 2008, 2009?
Something like that, yeah.
So, I mean, it's the boy who cried wolf. But on the other hand, they've now won 7 straight. And they are ranked 21st in the country.
Something important to point out, they only had 133 rushing yards, which makes me think if Mizzou can play their run game defensively like they did against Bama, we could force them into a one-dimensional offense. Now, whether that's good or bad, I don't know. It depends on if you can get into the backfield and disrupt the quarterback play. But
yeah, I'm willing to expect the defensive line, defensive ends especially. I'm willing to give them a little bit the benefit of the doubt, given that it's Bama and Tennessee's O-line ain't Bama. So I'm expecting a little bit more out of them this week, right?
Right.
But if they don't sniff a sack, then it's time to hit the panic button, because that's a recipe for disaster, especially when you've got young corners.
Right. Now, offensively for Mizzou, they did manage to score 19 points against Alabama. Now, I understand that last touchdown was like a junk touchdown, but the overall stats for Sean Robinson was 19 to 25, 185. That's not a
couple of drops thrown in there.
Oh yeah, I counted 4 in the first quarter, I believe it was 4 drops that really hurt our drive. He didn't play that bad. He made a few bad decisions, and my biggest criticism is he wants to scramble too much, and when he scrambles, he's going backwards, which doesn't help anybody. But I feel like if he can improve on game 1, they could put up a decent offensive production.
Yeah, I'm looking at the box score for Tennessee, going back to Tennessee's offense. There's no one out there that terrifies you, right? If you're a Missouri defense.
Correct.
Garantano, Missouri's played him a number of times. So the players are going to have a rough idea of what to expect. The coaches have plenty of film to look at as far as how he's done against Missouri and everybody else. They had, 394 yards total offense against South Carolina. That is respectable. I think Missouri is a better defense than South Carolina. So I could see Missouri holding them to like 350, maybe even lower. One very interesting stat for Tennessee: 1 out of 12 converting third downs.
Ooh,
that ain't gonna get it done against anybody. So that's something that Mizzou, Ryan Walters should be very interested in keeping Tennessee in off schedule. So put them in 3rd and long. And go ahead.
Another thing we haven't really mentioned. How about the discipline for the Missouri team?
Yes.
They only had 4 penalties for 45 yards.
I thought it was 3 for 20.
I thought I saw 4 for 45. I think there was 1 personal foul in there. I could be completely wrong on that. 3 or 4, even if it's 4, I mean, how impressive is that compared to last year where you're averaging like 9 to 10 a game?
Oh yeah, totally.
The offensive line didn't have more than like 1 false start in the whole game. And again, for an inexperienced line, that is extremely impressive. The team was extremely disciplined, and special teams didn't really kill you in that game either.
No.
More importantly, we made both our field goals.
Yeah, there was concern about availability issues for a long snapper, but everything seemed okay, I'm pulling up this box score here for Bama and Missouri because now you got me wondering. I thought I had it. Missouri penalties. Yeah, it was 3 for 20.
Oh, my apologies.
I don't know. No, hey, but do that. You're going to be in position to win games. You're not going to have 1st and 15, 1st and 20. And that's going to keep an offense that's trying to establish itself. That's going to keep them in a position to succeed, right?
Right.
Now, this game is in Knoxville. It's not going to be 100,000 people there. It'll be what, like 20,000 or whatever their percentage they're allowing is going to be. It's still on the road in the SEC, and Tennessee's won 7 straight. And it's hard to argue with them being number 21 in the country. If I take a look at it, I think Missouri is definitely going to be competitive. I do have a hard time picking them to win. So for a prediction, I think I'm going to roll with Missouri putting up a fight, being in there in the fourth quarter, but Tennessee pulling it out. I'm going to go 30-23.
Pretty close to what I had, actually. I picked 35-31. I think the biggest key in this game is going to be how clean can you play. Are you going to have any turnovers? Are you going to have that forced pitch turnover like Sean Robinson had against the Alabama game? Because that really hurt. That really hurt us. How clean can the offense play? And if they have a completely clean game, I think we have a shot at winning. But I'm still going to pick 35-31.
Yeah.
Tennessee, 35-31 Tennessee.
Okay, there you go. Oh, gosh. Right, so.
Anyway.
Yeah, go ahead.
Anyway, this is Under the Arch Sports. Again, please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check out our other social media, including Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thank you for watching.
See you guys.